We are back, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a video just recapping and reacting to the Browns preseason game against the Eagles in Cleveland, week 2 of the preseason. So the final result being a 1-point loss, isn't really a big deal, doesn't really matter. We want to make sure that the young players are progressing. Most importantly, there aren't any serious injuries. So we'll see how that played out in this game. In the first quarter, the Eagles would get the ball first. And the first drive was really just Boston Scott and Gardner Minshew, who are, certified NFL talents, kind of eating the Browns defense up. Both teams not playing really any of their notable starters, saving that for the, I guess they already played them during the, the scouting, the practices that they played against each other with their, they put out their starters then. They ran some drills together, but they mostly threw the backups and maybe some of the younger guys in for the preseason game today. Boston Scott had a huge drive against the Browns defense, including a touchdown run. The Browns' first drive, the Joshua Dobbs got the start at quarterback for today. Nothing too crazy in the beginning of it. Anthony Schwartz had an end around for about 4 yards, but then Joshua Dobbs got a 36-yard scramble on what looked to be kind of a for sure sack. He like his shirt. Somebody grabbed his shirt, but it was lucky one of like the tearaway undershirt jerseys or whatever. So he got out of that sack and went for 36 yards. And then on the very next play on 1st and goal, he dropped this shotgun snapped, but he picked it up and ran for a touchdown on the very next play. So 2 back-to-back touchdown drives there. In the Eagles' second drive, A.J. Green had a decent pass breakup. Tony Fields was looking like a nice game. Was having a nice game in the first quarter. But at the end of the first quarter, a 3-and-long draw gets them on a first down. So if you don't want to give up a draw play on 3rd and long to give up a first down there, kind of disappointing there on the defense. And the first quarter would end 7-7 with the Eagles driving. In the second quarter, the Eagles would score again on another goal line run. By this point, Boston Scott is out of there, and the Browns and both teams are really getting more of their depth guys in for preseason minutes. In the Browns' second drive, the first play was a circus catch by Mike Harvey Jr. He's having a pretty good camp, a really good preseason. David Bell caught a pass, but then later in the drive, David Bell would drop a 3rd down pass. He did have some tight coverage on him, but you would like to see him draw those in once the regular season starts. I don't freak out about wide receivers dropping passes in the preseason because, last year Jamar Chase had the dropsies in the preseason. There have been wide receivers in the past, especially young wide receivers, who have preseason drop issues, but they end up being just fine NFL players. But the silver lining on that drive is that we get to see Cade York go out there and make a 50-yard field goal, which is always nice, especially when you're in the Cleveland conditions. So the Eagles would get the ball back. Richard LeCount had a nice tackle for loss, but the defense in general is looking, not that great on at this point. But the Eagles get down to the goal line. It's 4th and goal. The Browns get the stop, but Herb Miller had a pick 6 in his hands. If he just catches that, he is off to the races. But he doesn't catch it. He drops it, and the Browns have about a 2-minute drill from inside their own 10. Although it would be a very nice 2-minute drill to end the half. Mike Harley, again, I think I've wrote his name as Mike Harvey. I think it's Mike Harley. Yeah, my bad. That's my bad on that. Mike Harley Jr., another nice grab. The wide receiver doing a really good job of getting open. Joshua Dobbs was doing a really good job of getting the ball to them on the sidelines. I think Anthony Schwartz had a catch. So if he can get his confidence going back again, catching the ball, that would be great for the regular season. They're in the field goal range, no problem. What I found weird about it was that I think the preseason you can have a lot of teaching moments and learning moments for a team. So when there's 1 second left and you're on the 1-yard line, why not just go for it? It's a preseason game. The results don't really matter. You don't need to get all the points you can because again, it's the preseason. You're just trying to use this time to develop these guys. They could have just had a 2-point conversion kind of drill going where instead of 2 points you get 6, which would be nice. But they sent out Cade York for a 19-yard field goal, which we know that he should make 100 times out of 100. So it goes into the half, and the score is 13-14 with the Eagles in the lead. The Browns get the ball back first to start in the first half. The Browns converted a 4th and 6 at the Eagles' 45. Again, teachable moments. Let's give Cade York a 64-yard field goal. Let's see what he can do tasked with that kind of distance, and let's see how far he can kick it. But a 4th and 6 from your opponent's 45 is also a good is also a really good drill to run. So kind of a win-win situation there. A really good drive for John Kelly and Jerome Ford. John Kelly had a touchdown run to finish that drive off. The Eagles' first drive, Sean Jolly had a pass breakup, and I believe the defense gets a 3-and-out. And if it wasn't a 3-and-out, then that drive ended for the Eagles pretty quickly. In the second drive in the half, the Browns got Josh Rosen would substitute in for Joshua Dobbs. Javon Wims had a really nice grab, but the drive would stall out a little bit, and Cade York would doink a 55-yard field goal. Normally, I would get nervous about, like, oh man, the kicker not make, but it's from 55 yards. That's not a gimme for anybody, even if he does have a huge leg. And Cade York does have a huge leg. He doinked it off the uprights, and that ball still had plenty of distance on it. If that crossbar wasn't there, it might have been wide, but man, that would have gone for a long time. The Eagles would get the ball back, and unfortunately, on the very first play of the next drive, the Eagles would just, the wide receiver would get behind him, and it was a one-play touchdown. Huge pass from the Eagles. I'm not even keeping track of who the Eagles are having on the field at this point. I'm mostly focusing on the Browns players and how they're doing. But on that play, the defensive backs were not good. They let the receiver get behind them wide open for a touchdown. And the Browns' next drive would stall out at midfield. The Eagles would get the ball at the end of the third quarter, and it would end with a first down conversion, and the third quarter would end 20-21. That would end up being the final score as well. But we have another quarter to play. Chris Odom almost had a sack. The Browns got a third and a fourth down stop, and then John Kelly is stopped on a 4th and 1 on the ensuing Cleveland Browns drive, so both teams trading turnover on downs. The next Eagles drive, Curtis Weaver would get a sack as the Browns get a 3-and-out on the next Eagles drive. And then on the Browns' 5th drive of the half, Josh Rosen is in, so there's not much going on. Zaire Mitchell-Payton had a nice 4th down conversion, but the drive would unfortunately continue, and there would be a 4th and 9 pass that would get incomplete. It got significantly darker all of a sudden. That was nice. And then the Eagles' next drive, at this point, they're basically trying to run down the clock with about 3 minutes left to go. They would get one first down, but the Browns would use their timeouts, so they would have a first down with about 2:50 left, and then the Browns would get a 3-and-out after that. So the Browns have one more shot. They have at the 20-yard line, the punt that the Eagles had went into the end zone for a touchback. So the Browns had essentially one more shot to try to get into field goal range. They threw 4 passes and was 4 incompletions, including a really bad false start on 3rd and 10 to make it 3rd and 15. So that drive went nowhere quickly. They turn it over on downs. The Eagles get in victory formation. They knee out the clock, and the game ends 20-21 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, the end result of being a win or a loss isn't really too important for the Cleveland Browns, but I do think that there were some positive spots for the Browns. The defense seemed to be pretty solid for the entire second half, again, except for that one play where the receiver did get behind them, and that cost them the game. Whatever losing the game cost you in this instance. I'm sure it didn't look good for whoever was supposed to be covering him. But at this point, you're just hoping for development of your players. Seeing Curtis Weaver and Chris Odoms, guys like those guys getting to the quarterback is nice. Knowing you have some depth behind Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. We're really looking for somebody to really stick out at the defensive tackle position. Perrion Winfrey had a couple of noticeable plays, but you could tell, especially at the beginning of the game, they were kind of getting pushed around on the defensive line. Boston Scott was having a really easy time of it. Gardner Minshew in the beginning had a lot of time to throw the ball and get people open. So you want to see some help there. The wide receivers actually looked they looked promising today. You didn't have the starters like Anthony Schwartz dropping true passes. Anthony Schwartz did better. Nobody got your eyes popping out or anything, but it was a solid game from the receivers all around. Overall, I think the Browns can use this and feel comfortable, especially with Joshua Dobbs. I think that's really important for that the Browns feel okay that if Joshua Dobbs gets under center, that he can provide at least decent quarterback play, quarterback play that's not going to lose you games. And so far during the preseason, Joshua Dobbs has done a very good job instilling confidence, at least with me, just as like a fan watching, and I'm sure with some of the coaching staff and the front office and all that. Joshua Dobbs has done a very good job of making his case that he can be a solid backup for the Browns. for the first 11 games of the season. Should Jacoby Brissett, get injured during that time frame, Josh Dobbs can step in and play quarterback and not be absolutely terrible. Josh Rosen, on the other hand, yeah, he looks like he's going to be here for training camp, be here for some preseason games, and then probably get the axe once training camp ends and you have to start making roster cuts and having, just 2 quarterbacks on the roster. But Joshua Dobbs has looked pretty stellar in his first 2 preseason appearances. Hopefully he keeps that up again in the 3rd game. He'll definitely get in, even if Jacoby Brissett plays a little bit. They'll be sure to throw Joshua Dobbs in there. So I think overall the Browns had a decent game. Again, they don't come away with a W on the score sheet, but like I've said many times in this video already, and I'll say it every time I talk about the preseason, I don't care if you win the games or lose the games. It's nice. It gets a little dopamine rush if you do see a W next to your team's name. But really what you're looking for is development, and most importantly, no injuries. And certainly the Browns did a lot better this game as opposed to last game in that result. So let me know if you liked the video. Let me know in the comments, or you can let me know by leaving a like and a subscribe as well if you'd like to see more videos in this nature. Please let me know what you think about the Browns preseason game and their upcoming chances in the season in the comments down below. Thank you all again for watching this video if you've made it this far, and I will see you with the next one.